So my own approach to learning an accent is a bit different from some people's. I find that some people will learn an accent for a project. I, in contrast, choose to learn an accent because I want to be able to keep it forever. So rather than doing a bunch of work before each project that ends up kind of going in vain because then you lose that after you do that project, I work rather persistently, such that the accent will remain with me enduringly. So I started off with this a few years ago with Russian, German, and French accents because I thought that they were my best casting. And then I developed kind of an approach using already available tools to learn those accents. And then I have consistently booked work with those accents because I have a lot of confidence in them, and they're quite well developed. So in short, the way that I tend to approach accents is to use the works of a guy named David Allan Stern, which one can find places to buy online. Sometimes there'll be a special where a person can acquire all of David Allan Stern's accents at a good rate. I also use the works of Jerry Blunt, and then I have some kind of intermediate steps that I do along the way. But to begin with, I take the works of David Allan Stern, and he does a lot of approaching how a person's mouth changes shape in preparing an accent. What I like about this is I think that it moves into the kind of place that some people refer to as muscle memory, more than just imitating sounds. And I will, for about a week, do the entirety of David Allan Stern's work in that accent. And so I'd say on average, that'll be about an hour's worth of work. So I'll spend about an hour doing his audio course of the accent, and I do that for a week. Then the following week, I shift into using the works of Jerry Blunt in that same accent. And then finally, I've added in a step that a buddy of mine who went to drama school told me about, called the IDEA website, which lists all the different countries of the world, and then a person can go through their database, which includes different accents from people from specific parts of that country. So anyway, that second week then, I do the works of Jerry Blunt, which takes probably 15 minutes, followed by a repeated listening and then shadowing of the different accents within the database from the country that a person is working on. When I say shadowing, what I mean is, so each of those recordings is between 3 and 4 minutes long, and I will listen through it once, but then when I find some accents that I'm particularly interested in imitating, in terms of shaping the accent such that the accent that I choose is one that I think will be useful to me and that I'll enjoy speaking with, I will just repeat each of the previous sentences while listening to the next sentence. There's a bit of a knack to it. I actually used to work as an interpreter. It was something that we would do back then, so it's kind of like simultaneous translation. It is, however, a lot easier because it's the same language that one speaks because it's in English. So I do that for a week. And then the third week, I spend developing ownership of that accent. So I'll start off by listening to the IDEA recording that I've chosen, and then spend a half hour applying that accent to a text. So it can be any text, but the blessing of it is that if you are simply reading from a book, but one that you don't have memorized or anything, then you have to deal with the text coming at you, and you perpetually are applying the accent to the text as you go. I'll do some other videos talking about different ways that I have different steps along the way that add some nuance to how I do this. But in brief, that is my approach to taking available resources and applying them to ownership of an accent.